Now, we're going to talk about the 4 ways to get value from a property. Now, what we're talking about this morning is the buy, refurbish, refinance strategy for recycling money. So either your money or, as I would say, other people's money, joint venture finance, to keep going endlessly. So you can buy multiple properties with one pot of money. It's super sexy. And you can do this in 4 ways. And the word is RAVE. The acronym at Progressive is RAVE. Can I have the word? The word is RAVE. Okay, start with a refurb. So I truly believe that you should never buy a property that you're not going to do a refurb to. I'm going to tell you why. What is a refurb? Anybody give me a... New kitchen, new bathroom, yeah. So a refurb, please write this down, in Anne's world, is anything that adds to the perceived value of a property. So 98% properties in the UK got a roof, would we agree? Yeah. So putting a new roof on isn't going to actually uplift the value. And I work very closely with Peter Jones, who's one of my trainers on the masterclass, who's 35 years experience in property. He's a chartered surveyor, and he promises me that actually doing things to add to the perceived value of the property is more likely to uplift it than doing structural stuff to the property. So it should be things like a new kitchen or an updated kitchen, a new bathroom or an updated bathroom. So if you had, white kitchen, white gloss kitchen, you could update it simply by changing the handles on the doors, new work surfaces on, the most current and fashionable tiles going on, something like that, new floor coverings, redecorated, yeah? But it's something materially to it. So new kitchen, new bathroom, new floor coverings throughout, redecorated throughout, and tidy the garden if there is one. So that's a refurb, a light refurb. Doing other stuff is much more risky. So if you have something that's very run down, and I'll talk about that in a minute, you're going to run into problems, or potentially run into problems, because you can't quantify the spend. So a new refurb. You want to be able to add value. You don't always have to add value, and most of the stuff that I do is a refurb with a little bit of added value. We teach you 21 ways to add value to a property that people watching Homes Under the Hammer know nothing about. Who knows Homes Under the Hammer? Put your hand up. Yeah. Now, Homes Under the Hammer to me is like crack cocaine. It's my guilty pleasure. I just love it. I don't work for a living anymore. So I'm in the kitchen, and I've got the telly on, and it's on a loop. They have it on Dave all the time. You can indulge it, can't you? You can get your fix several times a day. And how does it roll in Homes Under the Hammer? So what happens in Homes Under the Hammer is the guide price is £45,000, and the hammer goes down at £68,500. Sold! Then they go to the property and they interview the successful purchaser, and they say, oh, it's a young couple. They say, well, you're going to have to do a refurb on it, aren't you? And they say, yeah, it needs some work. How much is the refurb going to cost you? And they say, £7,500. And how long is it going to take? It's going to take 12 to 16 weeks. So 18 months later, they go back and they say to them, how much was the refurb? Oh, it went a little bit over budget. We spent £25,000. And how did you do it? Well, you see, we live 50 miles away. So what we did every Friday night, we got in the car and we drove up to the property and we blew up a bed. And we slept on a blow-up bed in one of the rooms, and we did everything ourselves. We did all the decorating. We laid the floor. We did some tiling. Is that the way to do it, everybody? No, it's not the way to do it. Now, when Steve and I first got together, Steve was working as a 1 in 3 as a GP. So he worked 1 in 3 nights and 1 in 3 weekends. The other 2 weekends, I dragged him off to do property renovations, little bits. We didn't do anything excessive. We would be painting. We fitted a few laminate floors. I once bought him a mitre saw for Christmas. Do you think that was popular? No, he doesn't like property. But did I get him to do the gas safety check for the property? Did I do the electrical certification for the property? No, why not? Because I wasn't qualified to do it. So please write this down. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Yeah? But people watching Homes Under the Hammer on a loop, all day, every day, visibility is credibility, and that's their property education. So most people in the UK are doing it that way. They're not doing it the way that we teach. They're not doing it properly. And that's where you can start to monetize. Now, the ways that we have to add value that people watching Homes Under the Hammer don't do there's 21 ways, but let's see if you can, let's see if you can think of some ways that we might add value to a property which is not a refurb. Shout out, team. Sorry? Planning gain, yeah. Any more? Off-street parking, yeah? Well, let me tell you one, a good one. Would you like a top tip? Yes. So top tip is internal space manipulation. Adding a room. It's a posh word for adding a room. So what we do, we have a lot of, you saw Milton Street, a lot of mid-Victorian terraced houses, and back in the day, they had 3 bedrooms upstairs. Yeah, back in the Victorian, Edwardian times, they had 3 bedrooms upstairs. But then, and you had your bath, as I did at my nana's. Your bath was a tin bath in front of the coal fire, wasn't it, in one of the rooms. There was no internal bathroom. So when there was an internal bathroom came to be all the rage, they nicked one of the bedrooms upstairs, didn't they, and turned it into a bathroom, agreed? So you've got a 2-bedroom house with a bathroom upstairs. So what you do, you take that bathroom out, because you're doing a new kitchen, you're doing a new bathroom, and you nick a bit from the other 2 bedrooms at the top, yeah? Because a bathroom doesn't need what? A window. Okay, so you take a little bit out of the 2 really huge double bedrooms upstairs, your bathroom in the middle. Now your 2-bedroom house, abracadabra, becomes a 3-bedroom house. That uplifts the value, because in the UK, properties are valued on number of rooms, not on square meters or square footage. So you've got a much more valuable house. In my area, what that means is I can push the value up a little bit, so I can recycle more money, and also it increases the rent. And where I am, the difference in rental value between a 2-bedroom and a 3-bedroom house is around £50 per calendar month, which of course compounds very nicely over time. Okay, so that is a way to add value to a property. All that increases the valuation of the property means, and we'll talk about this in a minute, which means you build in more equity in the property. So you can try and buy it at a discount. I always try to buy at a discount, but in a rising market that may not always be possible.